Hi guys, my name is Prasanna Charchi from Alien Brains, and in today's session we are going to talk about why do we use middleware. So before getting into the topic, if you have ever worked in some of the new web frameworks or some some applications you must have worked on, you must have heard or encountered the term middleware. So in this video I will be explaining what is middleware and why do we use it, and there are a few examples that I'm going to take, and those examples would be in respect to Redux and how we use middleware in Redux. Okay, so let's start with what is middleware. So middleware is basically, you can say as a definition, is some code or application that is used between the web framework receiving a request and the framework generating a response. And this might seem pretty simple, but this definition is more of related to web frameworks, but middleware is actually everywhere, used everywhere. So you can see middlewares in websites, in your phones, in your laptops, used in databases, and middleware are even used if you are playing some games. Middleware can provide the services like graphic renderings and physical simulation while you're playing a high definition HD game. So that is what middleware is. Now let's look into why do we use middleware. So let's take an example first to explain why we use middleware. Suppose you are hosting a party and you have invited a bunch of people there, but the major problem is that all the people that you have invited speak different languages. So, and you're the only person there who understand all of them and can communicate with all of them, but the people are having great trouble, the people that you have invited having great trouble communicating with each other as they don't understand their each other's language. So to make the party awesome and being a great host, you have to act as a translator for all those people that you have invited. So middleware acts the same way. So middleware enables a system or application to communicate with each other. It doesn't only mean that it has to be one to one. It can be many to one or one to many, like that, or many to many. And middleware is important because it makes synergy and integration across those application possible. So if some application is using some outdated version of some coding languages, middleware can be used in that case to make it translate it to the modern version, and so that we can use that outdated version of the code with some modern web frameworks, like that. Okay, so the next thing is uses of middleware. So uses of middleware, as I said, is everywhere. So here I have taken some of the three examples that are mostly used. The first example that I've taken is transaction management, which is used massively in business or banking industry. So what transaction management does is, as the name suggests, this middleware is used in banking industry, and this transactional middleware can be used to manage and control individual transactions and ensure that any problem do not corrupt the system or database. It does this transactional middleware does this by controlling transaction apps, pushing database updates related to the transaction, and enforcing the business rule and logic of the transaction. So if you are ever used some card to do some purchase, you must have noticed that you instantly get the notification or message that some money has been credited or debited, you receive some money. So that happens simultaneously, and that this can be done using this transactional management or transactional middleware. The next one is message queues. So message queues, what it does is allows messages to be sent and received between applications or systems. So suppose you have been writing some C code, and while writing some C code, there you error occurred, but to see that error you need to So basically, to see the message, the OS needs to throw the message to you, and to see the message you have to see it on a desktop. So the OS is sending the message to the application or the display that you're looking at, and this way you can say that the OS is communicating with the applications or systems. Okay. And the message oriented middleware, so it can also be called MON, or you can say it's message oriented middleware. It has also a queuing mechanism that allows the interaction between the server and the client to happen synchronously. Okay. And synchronously when the target node is busy or slow, so you can use this as well. And the next example is the web server. So what web server does is it accepts client requests from web browser and channel them to the main server or database, and then deliver the response to the browser. So it's pretty simple. It's the web browser is the as you can say the client and server model in data fetching and getting data and communicating between the server and the client. Okay, so let's look into middleware in Redux. So middleware in Redux. So in Redux, middleware provides a third-party extension point between dispatching an action and the moment it reaches the reducer. So in this case, in case of Redux, middleware being an software, it is rather a few line of codes in case of Redux, in Redux framework. And some of these famous middleware that I use are with Redux are Redux Logger, Redux Thunk, and Redux Saga. And so where does middleware fit into the Redux flow? So to understand that, let's look what Redux flow is. Okay, so Redux flow takes place when there are no asynchronous calls taking place in the application. Fine. But what will happen when you try to fetch some data, okay, from the server, or you are trying to communicate with an API? So in that case, or you suppose you want to just show the state changes the each and every action is causing. Okay, so these are what we can call as side effects to the Redux flow, and adding those to Redux flow might disrupt the flow of the Redux, the smooth flow. To solve this problem, and you must have guessed it by now, to solve this problem we use middleware to handle these side effects and to run beside the normal flow of the Redux, and how the state is updated in Redux. So let's first look into the normal flow of the Redux. So as you can see in this diagram, there is the Redux cycle and the action creator. Suppose on click of some button, or do you want to submit a form, an event takes place, and what that event does is it dispatches an action, and that action gets dispatched from the action creator. Okay, so that action gets dispatched. Fine. That action gets fed into the reducer, and what the reducer does is it updates the state, and in what the state updation of the state does, it updates the UI accordingly as the user wants, or the accordingly as an action, the action accordingly as the mentioned in the action, the UI should get updated accordingly. Okay, so this is the normal Redux pattern without any middleware. So let's look where this Redux, where the middleware gets into in the normal Redux pattern. Okay, so add-in middleware gives us a place to take in the dispatch action and lets us run the side effects after the action occurs. So other than the normal flow, so as you can see, that on some button click or some event, an action is getting dispatched. Now rather than directly fed into the reducer, this time the action is going to the middleware, and the middleware, as you can see in this diagram, it is handling some API, or it can handle some other side effect like showing the state change, or handle some other side effect like fetching some data from the server. And then with that data, that is get fed into the reducer. The reducer in exchange updates the store, and then that store updation of the store changes the UI accordingly, so that you can say some data gets fetched in the middleware part, and it gets fed into the reducer, and the reducer updates the store with the data we get from the server, and the user now can see whatever the data is getting fetched from the server. So this is where the middleware getting included in the flow. It gets added right between the action and the reducer. Okay. So we can consider middleware like a pipeline. So suppose an action is dispatched, and we can add a bunch of middleware in Redux. So it's not like you can add only one middleware at a time. You can add the Redux logger, and what Redux logger does is it shows or logs all the state changes according to the action that is getting fired. Or you want to add Redux Saga, which handles the side effects like external API fetch, or some data fetch from the server. So you can add bunch of these middleware, and it happens like first it went to the Saga middleware, then that Saga middleware went to the logger middleware, and then then to the reducer. So you can stack this middleware, and it works like a pipeline. So we dispatch one action, it runs through the middleware one at a time, ending in the reducer. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching.